Star Wars 7x7 episode 2782. It's Valentine's Day, and since this is a holiday for lovers of all stripes, I thought it might be fun to consider that Star Wars storytelling itself is tailor-made for lovers of all stripes as well. Punch it! Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So, when it comes to love, and especially on Valentine's Day, certainly there's a focus on romantic love, and that's all well and good. But there's a lot more to love than just romantic love. I will say for myself that I am a sucker for love stories, and so I find the love story with Anakin and Padme compelling. I find the love story with Han and Leia compelling. I wish that there had been a love story that you could really grab a hold of in the sequel trilogy, and there wasn't really. There was just, hints and allegations, as the Paul Simon song would say. And there were a couple of tragic love stories in Solo: A Star Wars Story with Val and Beckett and with Kira and Han. And then you have Rogue One, which didn't have a love story, and that's okay, actually. In fact, it's probably better that way. I'm glad that Jyn and Cassian did not become lovers at the last minute in that elevator ride down to the beach, right? It would not have worked at all. That whole movie is perfect as is. But there is, of course, more than one kind of love, and depending on which philosophical tradition you're looking at, it could be 4, there could be 20, there could be a whole bunch. I think 8 is probably a good one to sit with. I would say 7 with Star Wars 7x7, but there's a good definition for 8 of them. And there are a couple of characters in Star Wars, in live action and animation, that I think experience the full range of love that exists out there. Not to say that there's anything wrong with characters that don't. I'm thinking, for example, of Vernestra Rwoh, who's in the High Republic, and that character has been stated as being both asexual and aromantic, and that's cool. That exists, and I'm glad that it does in general, and I'm glad that it exists in Star Wars in specific. That's great. And by flagging a couple of characters in Star Wars who experience all 8 of the types of love defined in Greek tradition, I'm not trying to imply that any other character's experience of love is incomplete. I'm only saying, isn't it interesting that these characters seem to have experiences that hit all 8 of these particular types. So what are the 8 types? All right, well, there's philia, which is a friendship-like love. There's storge, that's an odd word. It's like storage without the A, and that is more family-based love. There's ludus or ludus, which is a flirtatious, playful love. There's eros, which is romantic sexual love. There's pragma, which is an enduring love. There's mania, which is obsessive love. There's philautia, pronunciation again, which is self-love. And then there's agape, which is a selfless or divine love. And if there's one character who experiences all of these in Star Wars storytelling, I think it has to be Anakin Skywalker, right? So, brotherly love, if you will, with, say, Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, familial love with his mom, Shmi. His love for Padme takes on at least 3 different types. It might have been 4, potentially, but certainly ludus, right? The flirtatious, playful love, and then eros, and then mania as well. I would love to say they might have hit pragma, the enduring love, at some point, but I don't think that they were together long enough to hit that. And I think the Jedi Order is one that encourages both self-love and selfless love. And I know the idea of self-love can sometimes be a little hard to get your hands around, but think about it in terms of self-care, right? And certainly meditation and mindfulness practices lend themselves toward the idea of self-care. And of course, them being of service to others is a very agape-like concept. All right, so maybe I have to walk back my original thesis and say that Anakin only really hits 7 out of 8, which is still a lot of them, to be sure. And the other character I wanted to flag, I can't think of an instance of mania for her, and that's Hera Syndulla. That's another character who experiences a very broad range of the kinds of love that are available in the I was going to say the human experience. She's not a human, so just the sentient experience, if you will. And it's interesting, too, with the idea of the Ludus kind of love, the playful, flirtatious love, and the Eros version of love, and the Pragma, the consistent, enduring love. It does feel like with Kanan and Hera that they stood in a Pragma space, a very long-standing and committed love, even before they got to the Eros part in season 4 of Rebels. And as much as I enjoy the sequel trilogy, and I really do, I wonder if, any of the lingering dissatisfaction I might have with it has to do with a sort of unrequited love kind of situation. If the fact that maybe some of the types of love that exist out there aren't necessarily reflected within the sequel trilogy in the same way that they were represented in the prequel trilogy and in the original trilogy. And I'd love to know what you think about this. Love to think, yeah, that was pun unintended, but still, it's there, so let's go with it. So yeah, whether you think love is a key element in Star Wars storytelling, and if it's, the whole range of love, or if you think some elements of love are more key to Star Wars storytelling than others, please let me know what you think. YouTube, just go to the comment section for the video, and for audio versions, head over to the podcast homepage, that's sw7x7.com, and look for the post with the show number 2782. And yeah, start a comment there, and let's talk about love today. And that right there seems like a good place to call it a show today. So it just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for the podcast, as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2021 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.